What's going on, everybody? This is Marcus, and I'm here with my lovely wife.
Shira.
And we'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Black Married and Debt Free podcast. And I'm really excited today because we have a special guest, man. I know y'all gonna love
Yes.
it. But yeah, Shire, how's your day been so far?
My day is going
So
well.
far, so good.
It's bright and early Sunday morning in sunny California.
Yes.
I have caffeine flowing through my veins, and I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm so excited, man, to pull this guest up here.
Yes.
We have a person. Now, this is really dope because we have been trying to find a certified financial professional to get on
Yes.
the show. We
Yes.
have a lot of coaches. We have a lot of people who are, doing the work. But we got somebody with some credentials
Yes.
today.
Qualified and
Yeah.
certified.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna bring up this person, and that's one piece of his story, but another piece is this brother's killing YouTube right now.
Yes.
He's taking YouTube by storm. So we're excited to have Jason Thornton. You may know him as JT, the Pocket Watcher. How you doing, bro?
Listen, I'm so excited. Thank you guys for even inviting me on here, and that whole intro. If y'all give me an intro like this, I'll be on every episode because I'm honestly listening to the intro. I'm like, who are they talking about? Is this me? Okay, great. Let's do this. I'm excited.
That's what's up, JT, man. Thank you so much. Now we really want to get into your current stuff, but what we like to do is we like to kind of go back with our guests, and you could go back as far as you want. Just kind of tell us, how did you get to this point? What shaped your mindset, and got you into finances?
Okay, great. So I'm gonna go all the way back.
Okay.
All the way back. The earliest point within my lifetime where I can relate to finances would be 9 years old. Okay. My parents, I'm blessed. And I say this all the time. I was born into a very privileged position. My parents are business owners. Okay. Own a scrap metal recycling company, right? Business owners. And when you are in a family of small business owners, you play a role no matter what. No matter how big or how small you are, you're going to end up playing a role in that small business. And the role that my parents put me in at the age of 9 was a bookkeeper for the business. So I didn't even choose this life. I was drafted into it, right?
Right.
And, so I'm in that age range where personal computers actually became a reality for small businesses and families, because early on computers was like these huge things that would take up a whole room. But when I was young, Apple II computers and Windows computers and stuff was just coming out. So not only would I have to work with a pencil and paper, my father actually bought me a computer to help out with the bookkeeping and stuff. So I was able to catch on when it came to working with numbers, working with technology, and helping the family since I was 9 years old. And that position just slowly progressed as I got older, to the point where, if there was something needed within the family, I was the go-to person when it came to finances. I had to read up on it, kind of get to the point where if there was an assignment, I could do it. So it just slowly progressed from that point all the way through college. And then after I graduated from college, I came home and boom, ended up becoming the accountant and personal financial advisor for my father. And
Wow.
it was, it's different because I graduated into a recession, right? I graduated undergrad in 2006. So I had about a good 2 years before the world melted down financially.
Right.
And, worst case scenario, I'm always going to be able to work for my father, And so I was in a situation where my father obviously had full confidence in my ability to, help him through whatever financial situations there was. But then I'm also somewhat young. So I had to do something to continue to progress, had to do something to continue to show that I knew what the hell I was talking about.
Right.
So, I went back to school, went to night school, continued my education, and eventually became a certified financial planner, because that is the highest mark that you can get within the world of financial advising. I had to prove myself, even though obviously my father had his confidence in me. I wanted to do something that would show the world, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I can do this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's such an amazing story. And it's like you had started with the hands-on training first.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, listen, my father is not easy, right? When it comes to these numbers, because obviously, you know, with scrap metal recycling, it's not so much that you're getting money from the customers, you're
Right.
paying money to the people who come in. They're bringing you things as small as an aluminum soda can and as big as a truck.
Wow.
And it's my job to, you know, be able to mark down how much things weighed and how much people should get paid. If I would mess up, that meant most likely I overpaid someone.
Wow.
If you underpay someone, they're going to correct you. It's not that big of a deal, right? You underpay someone, they're going to hold on, and it gets fixed.
Right.
But when you overpay someone, they stay quiet and they walk out of the office, right? So when I would overpay someone, the money came out of my stuff. You know, my father was quick to do deductions, right? At the end of the day or the end of the week, he would calculate everything up. So it became math. Being able to do math in my head was very important. My father taught me different little tricks of how I can do math in my head fast enough so where the customer's not being frustrated, and accurate enough where I'm not getting hit with a bunch of deductions. And that actually came to the point where I got the highest math scores of my elementary school. Because in the 5th grade, they gave out this award called the Math Elite Award, where they treat you as if you're an athlete, and they put a ribbon and stuff around your neck. And I actually got the highest scores in elementary because when I would do my math test, it wasn't just numbers, it was money. And it had to be right. So, you know, that it just shows the influence of how parents can help guide your education if you put meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was just numbers, I probably would have got things wrong. But it was money I was looking at that math test. And so I had to get it right.
Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you've kind of learned on the job, and then you decide to pursue this full time. So JT, was this like a passion for yours, or did you see it as like, well, hey, I've been, this is kind of what I know, or how much of it was like, man, I just really have a passion? I think you spoke to it, but can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It's a mixture, because at the time I was put into the position of bookkeeper, I was 9. I was the youngest of my father's sons at that point. And my older brothers, they got to do the stuff that I thought was the fun stuff. They would be in the yard actually operating machinery and stuff like that. I looked at it as, oh man, he's just got me in the office as almost like a babysitting thing. Right. So at first I did not like it. I didn't feel as if I was pulling my weight. I didn't feel as if I was doing the real work of the business. But then later on, when he would ask me certain questions about, how much money did we make, or how much of this did we buy and stuff like that, I realized he was making business decisions based on my work. Wow. And he put me in a position where when we would even go to the bank and we would need to pull out money, he would just point to the teller and says, no, count out the money to him, give him the money. And I'm talking about, 12, 14 years old, they're counting out $25,000 to me. And my father said, make sure it's right. Yeah. And then I would carry the money. Like little things like that made it feel like, okay, this is a real position that my father gave me, and it's important. And then when it came to paying my siblings, this is the fun part. When it came to paying my siblings, he's like, go see Jason. So I'm sitting there counting their money out to him, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm the little brother, but yeah, okay, now. So it gave me this passion for it. So at first I didn't like it as much because I thought it was just like, a small job, but then later on it grew. My father really does depend on the work that I do, and it gave me that passion to keep going and keep going. Then I realized how important money is. Yeah. Like as a kid, I mean, obviously money buys you things, but the ability to properly manage money and to give business owners the proper financial information where they can make good business decisions. Yeah, you cannot live without it, because if you are, your business is going to fail. Yeah, you can have the best product, the best service. If you are not making business decisions based on the financials of the company, you're going to fail. So that's what kind of sparked the passion out of it, because I'm like, wow, I'm very important to this organization that my father built, and I'm like the youngest one here. So like that kept it going.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's
Amazing
wonderful.
stuff. Yeah.
So you are a certified financial planner. And
Yes.
so can you talk to us a little bit about what that means and the work that's involved in becoming a certified financial planner? I think a lot of people have questions about money, but they don't know who to reach out to. And so by default, they're looking at Google, they're looking at YouTube, and sometimes they're not getting the best information.
Absolutely. So to become a certified financial planner, it actually takes a lot of time, education, and work. In the world of money management and financial experts, you can call yourself a financial expert. Technically, you can call yourself a financial advisor with little or no education whatsoever. It's like the wild, wild west. It doesn't really take much. When you say you're a financial advisor, honestly, within the industry, you can still be looked at like, I have no idea what you do.
Right.
Just by saying you're a financial advisor or financial coach is like, okay, what is it that you do? Because that can mean absolutely anything, right? You could be a person who sells insurance and say you're a financial advisor, or you're a stockbroker where you really don't have a duty to your client to give them financial advice. You're selling them a product. But to become a certified financial planner, like I said before, it is the highest mark of education and professionalism within financial advising. You actually have to have the core basic things that any professional should have, right? It's referred to as the 4 E's. You have to have education, you have to have experience, you have to have ethics, and you have to pass the national board exam. As far as education is concerned, you have to have a bachelor's degree from an accredited college. You also have to have studied financial planning, right? You can't just have a degree in anything, right? You can have a bachelor's degree in a subject, but you also have to have studied with a CFP board registered program where you study all of the areas of financial planning, which starts out with the fundamentals of financial planning, insurance planning, investment planning, tax planning, estate planning. All of these things you have to have studied before you are even allowed to sit for the exam. Then the exam is a 6-hour beast of an exam. You pass the exam, then you still have to have at least 3 years worth of experience giving financial advice. And then lastly, you have to abide by the ethics of a certified financial planner, which the most important part is that you have to put the interest of your client before yours. Now that sounds normal, right? If you are a doctor or a lawyer, they already expect that you have to put the interest of your client before yourself. But that's not the case for many people who call themselves a financial expert or financial consultant. In many, 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 many cases, a person who calls themselves a financial expert, they are selling someone a product. And when you're selling someone a product, they don't have to be your first priority to make sure that they're getting what they really need at the best price. You're trying to sell someone something at the highest price possible where you can make money, as long as, and what they refer to as suitability, meaning like if I wanted a car and I went to a car lot and I tell the guy, I'm looking for a 2-door car, black. Well, he's probably going to try to sell me the Lamborghini.
Yep.
It's a 2-door car and it's black. There you go. That's what you asked for. But he didn't ask me questions about my budget. He doesn't really care about trying to get me in the thing that makes the most sense for me financially. He's trying to get as close as possible as to what I asked for, but at the highest price. That's suitability. And that's what a lot of people who call themselves financial experts go off of. You want to look for someone who's doing something based off an F word. And this is a good word. This F word is fiduciary. When you are a fiduciary, that means you are legally required to put the interest of your client before yours. So meaning I could I'll recommend something to a client. One thing may be better for me and the other thing may be better for the client. I always have to point them towards the thing that is best for the client.
Man, that you know, we always have these moments on the podcast where it's like the guest is just cooking, you know, you in your bag, JT.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, man, that was, I think a lot of our listeners need to hear that, man,
Yes.
because you know, and we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there because there's so many people on here who are just self-proclaimed experts that I think sometimes you need to hear. No, this is what a professional, you know, does and is required to do, and,
Right.
and experts aren't held to that standard. And I think that's the great thing about the certification is you're held to that fiduciary standard.
Yes.
And so you know, when you're looking for advice, you want to find someone who has that certification. So thank you for breaking that down, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that goes into it, but and here's probably some of the reasons why there's some financial experts online who aren't fans of my content, right? Let's get to that point because I think this is a great way to talk about this. So, you know, with my content, I originally started doing YouTube videos and podcasts and whatnot based on the fact that I have clients in the real world, right? I'm not just a talking head on social media. I have actual people who rely on my financial advice to make decisions for either their business or their personal life, right? I take that extremely seriously. And what ends up happening is I'll create a financial plan for the client and we'll agree that this is the best path for that person to take to achieve their goals. Then a couple of days later, or maybe a month or two later, they'll see something on their timeline. They'll see something on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and they'll say, wow, that looks really cool. I want to do this with my money. This person makes it look really cool. And they would send it to me and they say, hey, JT, take a look at this. Is this something that I can add to my financial plan? And 9 times out of 10, it's something that is either ridiculous or something that's borderline criminal activity, right? I mean, there's people who are online who will advocate, you want to pay less in taxes? Start a home-based business. You can write off so many things if you start a home-based business. They have no idea that it is illegal to start a company simply for the tax write-offs. The reason why you start a business is to make a profit, not to write off expenses so you pay less in taxes. But these people, once again, they're not educated within the field of finance. They are not regulated within the field of finance. They're just talking, right? That's it. They're just talking and they're saying things that either sound good to them or they're repeating something that they heard from someone else. So the birth of the YouTube channel came from the fact that people kept sending me these clips of financial advice from social media influencers, and I would have to sit down and explain to the client, no, we can't do this. It's either illegal or it's not going to actually help you in the long term of you accomplishing your financial goals. And I said to myself, wow, you know what? Instead of me doing this each and every time someone sends me something, because if a video's viral, everyone sees it.
Yes.
And they're going to start hitting me up. I said, you know what? I can just, after one person sends me something, I can make a video online. And then I can just send them the link to the video online and I don't have to repeat myself over and over again. And that was the birth of the YouTube channel and podcast, Pocket Watching with JT. The whole thing was I'm trying to correct bad financial information in the social media space. It could be because people, financial advice is something that I take extremely seriously. Right? It's not like all the other things that you can do online. You can go online and you can just talk about your personal experiences and a bunch of different things. You can just talk about it. Boom, boom, boom. But when it comes to financial advice, legal advice, and medical advice, people actually do what you say.
Yes.
They will actually attempt to replicate or take action on the things that you are recommending. And it can totally destroy someone's life if they do it and you have no idea what you're talking about. So I take it seriously. So when the YouTube channel started moving and I got all this stuff coming at me with the bad financial advice, I was like, listen, we have to actually do something here. And some people, they don't like the fact that I am extremely strict when it comes to, hey, stop listening to people who are not actually qualified to give financial advice, right? You have to go through certain stuff. I had to get a background check by several different authorities, right? The Internal Revenue Service did a background check on me before I could legally give financial advice. Aside to passing exams and going to school, they did a background check on me. They make sure that I am current on my taxes. If I was falling behind, I had personal issues with not paying my taxes, they would reprimand me. They could take my ability to represent people before the IRS if I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Then the SEC also did a background check on me. They also check and see, did he file for bankruptcy? If I did, it would show up on all of the different websites of the government agencies who say, hey, this person has the education, he has the ethics to actually be a financial advisor. That stuff would show up. Yeah. The thing that drives me insane is you have people online calling themselves financial experts who have personal bankruptcies. Recent. I'm not talking about like years ago.
Right.
Recent personal bankruptcies. If you have a personal bankruptcy, what you're saying is you're admitting you were unable to properly manage your money.
Yeah.
But yet they're online telling you how to manage your money. Not for free, for a fee. They are charging people, right? Then you got people who have felony frauds on their background. I mean, they were prosecuted and admitted either they either completely just lost the case or they pled guilty to fraud. But yet they are financial experts in the Black community because we're such a community that's starving for good financial advice that we don't have the time or the discipline a lot of times, not all the time. Obviously, this doesn't go for everybody.
Yes.
But especially for the young, they're so starving for good financial information and things that will help them improve financially that they don't care. They're not going to look into the backgrounds of people. Yeah. And that's where the problems come.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of meat on that bone.
That was good. Wow. Man.
So, okay, let me see how I'm going to form this question. So we have gurus out here and some people are taking advantage of people.
Absolutely.
How much of it is the actual guru and then how much of it is coming from our community in that we like to see people who are flashy and they have, this grandiose life that they're presenting on social media, whether it's real or fake. But people just we gravitate that. Black people gravitate to that. Okay. And then we love the story. I went from broke to blessed, from rags to riches.
Right.
So how much of it is, these gurus, and then how much of it is our community fueling their
creating the guru,
creating this monster?
That is such a good question. That is such a good question. So I'm going to say it's 75-25. 75% is the gurus, 25% is the community. And that's a good question. Let me explain why. So within my research of these different gurus, I actually found out that there is a portion of gurus out there who went into it honestly. They went into it with the mindset that they actually do want to help people. But then they realized that no one's listening to me, right? Yes. No one's listening to me.
Yes.
And they try to figure out, well, how can I get people to listen to me? Okay, I'm going to put on the expensive watches. I'm going to do a video standing or sitting on top of a expensive car or in an Airbnb because I want to get the eyes and the ears on me. Okay, not something that I would do, but okay, I see that. But then it turns into, well, you're still not giving them good advice, right? Now you got the eyes and the ears, but you're still not giving them good advice, and they're fueling your ability to show off these flashy things, because what ends up happening, it becomes a cycle, right? Yes. The rags to riches story. Of course, yes, everybody loves those stories. It's inspiring. It gives you an idea, you know what? I can do that too. But what I found is most of these people, they do not make their money following their own advice. They do not, like, if you have some people who call themselves real estate experts, they're multi-million-dollar real estate experts, but they didn't make money in real estate. they made money selling courses to people about real estate. So yeah, they're multimillionaires based off selling the dream. Yes. They didn't actually do it themselves. So yeah, it's 75% on the guru, 25% on the community, because we got to get to a point where it's not the flashiness. Now, I've been blessed to grow this YouTube channel to over 56,000 subscribers in a little over a year. Wow. Not once. No one has no idea what car I drive. Right. I don't even wear watches, you know, for the most part. The only watch I really do have is an Apple Watch, and I barely wear that because it reminds me how much I need to work out, right? But there's a group of people who are interested of hearing what I got to say based on actually the content and the financial information and not the flash. So it's possible, but it actually takes work. And number two, and probably most importantly, you got to actually know what the heck you're talking about. So when you take away the flash, you have to actually have the substance of the content. And clearly, to me, they don't have the substance. That's why they have to bring in the flash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, that's so true, JT. And it's like you were much needed too, because a lot of us, you know, you start to kind of develop these friendships, and me and Shire have said before, you start to see a lot of these fake gurus kind of going on. They go on the podcast. I don't know what you call it, but
the circuit. Listen,
circuit, the Chitlin circuit.
It's so weird, because the thing is, I've witnessed the birth of a little guru. So there's a gentleman. No names are being called here, because there's a guy that I know, right? I witnessed the birth of a guru. So long ago, like back in 2012-ish, I ended up going to a event where I was a speaker and this person was a speaker, and we actually had a good conversation. And you know, actually, we know a lot of the same people. We're from the same area. I went to college with a lot of people he went to high school with, right? Okay. And, you know, throughout the years, I kind of noticed that he was going down the fake guru path. He started to get mentorship. They always push mentorship. Now, I'm a big believer, obviously, that you need someone, right? Not need, but it helps. I would say that. Not need, but it helps. It helps to get a mentor. It helps to get someone who's been where you want to go, and they can help guide you in, number one, not making the mistakes that they made. I think that's one of the biggest parts of having mentorship. Someone who's been down the path, and they can point out all the potholes and all the obstacles that you're going to see to help you. Now, you're still going to trip up. Believe me, you will still trip up. Any parent knows that, right? And when you're a parent, you say to yourself, when you first hold that baby in your hands, I'm going to make sure that you never make any of the mistakes I make. And then you realize, hey, I can point it out, but they're still going to do some of this stuff, right? So when it comes to mentorship, to me, it's very useful to help guide you down the road that they've already been. It helps. But mentorship isn't the be all that these fake gurus make it seem, right? Like mentorship is everything. You're never going to be successful if you don't have a mentor. Yeah, okay, sure. But the mentorship always costs. Like, and here's the thing. I don't believe these people are selling mentorship to start off. Because in my world, mentorship doesn't cost money. Mentorship doesn't cost money. When I've had mentors in my life, the most I would ever do is pay for lunch. Maybe give them a gift during holidays and their birthdays, just to show my appreciation. That was mentorship. If I'm paying you for advice, you are a consultant. And to me, you work for me. So during that time that I'm paying you for your advice, you work for me the same way I treat my attorney. Right? When he's charging me a billable hour to do something, I'm not sitting there in awe of him, right? I'm not, taking notes and thank you. I'm paying for this.
Right.
If I'm paying for this, then the relationship's a little bit different. Right? I expect for you to show up on time. I expect for you to give me the information that I asked for. I expect to be able to ask all the questions I want. No, next time. I want it now because I'm paying. So there's not mentorship going on. These are paid consultations that you're getting from these fake gurus, and you need to treat it like that. But okay, let me get back to the main point here. So the whole mentorship and becoming a fake guru is within itself kind of like a pyramid scheme. All right, it may take me a few moments to lay this out, but let me
take your time.
Cook, JT.
All right,
to be continued.
The mentorship game, and especially in financial experts, it's a pyramid scheme, because this is ultimately what happens. You may first get invited to something that's free, maybe a webinar or some local meeting, and it doesn't cost money. But at the end of that meeting, they're going to say, present you with the class that costs money, right? Yes. Listen, if y'all guys want to make money, you want to do this, I can't even give you the information that you really need in this 45-minute seminar or whatever. If you really want to make money, you want to change your life, come pay for this class. Class may be anywhere between a couple of $100 to a couple $1,000. You pay for that class. Guess what? You really don't get a lot of information in the paid for class.
Nope.
Then at the end of the paid for class, they listen, if you really want to change your life, you got to go to the mastermind. Now, this is an elite group of people who are dedicated to really changing the legacy of their family's financial life. If you want to do this one's going to cost you some money. But they always say this, it's not about the money this costs if you pay for it and take the class. It's about all the money it's going to cost you if you don't take it.
Yeah.
Right, it's the same script. People, it's not even if you just take some time. And the thing is, the average person is so busy in their life, they don't get to see all the fake gurus and realize they're using the same script. They're just so focused on the one that they're caught in their little sales funnel. They don't even realize the script is so old. This is an old script. Before it was the internet, it was infomercials at 3 a.m. in the morning. But people, they don't know. So ultimately what happens after you spend all this money on this fake guru who's supposed to be teaching you, when you get to the final level, the boss level, right? When you finally get to the point where they have no more classes to teach you, this is the thing that they do. Now it's time for you to go out and get your own mentees and teach your own class. Yeah. That's how you can make the money I make. You sit there like, hold on, I thought I was going to be a business owner. I thought you were going to be teaching me so I actually get all the way to the top boss level. Yep. And you tell me if I really want to be successful, I just now do what you did. I get a bunch of people, I slowly get them into my sales funnel, and now I'm a guru. And I'm telling you, I witnessed the birth of a guru. He's in the circuit of going to all the podcasts. And the thing is, these guys, the circuit, like the things that you send, I could call out names, but trust me, if you watch, you can see.
Yeah.
All these guys had the same mentor who they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be their mentee. And now they're just giving each other times on each other's podcast.
Yes.
They all had the same dude. And now what they do is they have their podcast and they sell courses. So it's like, is the ultimate plan everyone's going to have courses that they sell everybody? I mean, is that the ultimate plan? Is that how the Black community is going to close the wealth gap? We're all going to be selling courses to each other. That's ultimately what it comes out to be. I'm going to sell you a course, you sell me a course, and we're all going to be millionaires. It's unsustainable.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. Mathematically impossible. Yes.
JT, man, you said what's been on our hearts for years, brother. It's just like, no. You're right. How is something like that sustainable? It's not, and I think a part of it too, JT, and you can speak to this, that it's crazy that seems sexier to a person than sitting down with a financial certified financial planner, them telling you index funds and pay down debt and the real thing, 401ks, and see, those aren't sexy,
it's
but
not sexy,
that other stuff is salacious, and it's like, so
it's faster.
It's faster. It just seems like, so I don't know, man. Yeah. How much of that do you think it is that, and you kind of spoke to it, but do you see that a lot, that people are like, well, this is boring. Is it that paying down debt and doing it that way is boring? Is that?
It's Let me give you an example, because you two guys, you look great. You're in great shape, right? You're healthy. So I'm going to compare it to physical fitness, because it's one of the greatest examples that I can give. We live in a multi-billion-dollar industry of get healthy quick. Mm-hmm. I don't care where you go. You can go to any website, TV channel, whatever. There's going to be some sort of advertisement of how someone who is obviously out of shape, just obese, right? If you do this, you can get in shape. Don't worry about watching your diet. Don't worry about, burning more calories than you take in. Oh, no. That's for suckers. Right. If you buy the ab roller, if you take this pill once a day, they have all these things that say you can get in shape without actually doing the fundamental things in physical fitness that we all know based on common sense works, but it takes hard work to get there, right? So if we know that there's a line outside of the door of someone selling a magic pill or a magic tool or whatever to help you get in shape, it's the same thing with personal finance. Common sense would tell you, if you spend less than you make, the difference that you save should be focused on either paying down debt, creating an emergency savings fund, and investing. If you do that consistently, you will be a millionaire by the time you retire. The math just works out that way. It just works out that way. It's somewhat basic. Now, in order to do that, you have to have some discipline. In order to do that, and here we go, you have to focus on not creating financial liabilities in your life that you're not ready for, which means when you have a child as a teenager, it's going to be a setback in your wealth building.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I'm sorry. It's a reality. Yeah. You can't go out here and, create all of these financial liabilities for yourself and then complain how the U.S. economy and capitalism did not work for you. Right. Right. You played the game wrong. Right. Right. That's the issue. And there's always going to be someone who will pat you on the head and say, no, it's not your fault. It's not the financial decisions that you made as a child or in your 20s or in your 30s. That's the reason why you're living paycheck to paycheck. No. The boogeyman did that to you. Yeah,
it's the system.
Right? It's the boogie. But don't worry about that, because I have something to sell you, never give to you. Pay attention to this. They never give it to you. I have something to sell you that is going to help you overcome the boogeyman who put you in the position that you're in. So we're always going to look for the easiest route. Right. But in my life, I'll be 39 in a couple of months. Okay. And in my life, I've just discovered there's nothing in my life that I look at as an achievement that I'm proud of that came easy. Everything that I look at as a accomplishment, something that I can stick out my chest about, it came hard. Yeah. And that's the mindset that people need to get in. You need to look, okay, what's the right way? What's the hard? You still want to think smart, right? It's like work smarter, not harder. Yeah, I got that. But how about not be a scammer? How about not lying to people? How about actually doing the fundamental things that make sense, that you can be proud of the way that you made your achievement? That's what you need to do. And until we make that cool, until we make that sexy, there's always going to be someone lining up to be a victim of a comment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And so I think as you've been talking, you've outlaid some of the red flags, that folks need to look out for. But can you just give us a few more? I know we might have folks who are listening who have purchased courses and maybe nothing has come from those courses that they've purchased. And so what can they look for to not go down that road again?
All right. So I made a few things that I consider red flags for fake gurus and comment. So here's a few things that you want to pay attention to. Number one, fake name or fake bio. Right? If you only know this person based off their Twitter handle or their Instagram name, and you don't know what their government name is, that's a red flag to me. I'm not going to give someone money who's supposed to be teaching me financial literacy and they're, some rapper name, right? Yeah. They have a rapper name. It's not going down. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. You know, I need to know your actual name, and I need to know your bio. And a lot of these guys lie in their bio. They'll claim certain certifications that they don't have. They'll claim certain education that they don't have. It just takes a few moments to Google. So before you cash app them some money, how about you check and see what their actual name is and if their bio actually lines up to what they say there is. So that's red flag number one. If you don't know their actual name or what their bio is, you probably should not be sending them money. If you enjoy that content, watch the free content, but don't give them money. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is no credentials or fake credentials. If the person has absolutely no credentials, here's the issue. You can become successful at a certain thing. But just because you became successful at doing something does not mean you have the technical knowledge and the ability to teach others. Because it could simply be anecdotal evidence, meaning it worked for you, but it's not exactly what would work for people who are in a different situation, right? When you're taught financial planning, you're taught how to deal with people in a variety of situations. That's what gives us the ability to really give financial advice. It's not just one size fits all. There's general principles, of course, but we have to look at people's particular situations to give them the recommendations that make the most sense for them. If you got a person who's like, well, of course I can teach you how to be a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. It doesn't work like that, right? I've known so many great athletes, right? Just great athletes who don't have the ability to coach. And the reason why is it came so easy to them. Right, guys? Like I was a person in sports that nothing came easy. I was never naturally talented to do anything. I've always had to be the guy that came early to practice and stayed late at practice to get whatever techniques that I needed to do, because the person who just showed up, me and my friends said they just wake up and be alive. They wake up and they do a little shoulder shake and they can be the greatest athlete in the world because it's just natural to them. But if you would sit down and ask them, how do you do such and such and so and so? They'd be like, well, I just do it. I just this. They don't know how to teach the steps because they're naturally gifted at it. And that's the difference between anecdotal evidence, a person who's just really good at doing something, and the ability to teach it. And when it comes to your money, listen, we live in a world that is core. It's about finances. I don't care what you do. There's nothing in this world that you can do where money is not related somehow, some way. Your financial life is going to control how you enjoy this world that we're blessed to live in. It just is. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be a multi-billionaire. You could be a person making $45,000 a year and live an extremely comfortable life because you live off of $28,000 to $30-something thousand. Now, that's somewhat of a minimal lifestyle, but it's doable. If you want more, you have to earn more. So if the person doesn't have actual credentials to give you some kind of assurance that they know what they're talking about, I wouldn't go with it. It's just, it's a waste of your time and money. And there's a couple more, but I want to focus on this one. Criminal background. Now, I know we live in a community with like second chances, right? I'm not a person like, if you've made a mistake in your past, that's you, and you'll never be anything more than that mistake. I'm not that guy. Trust me, I'm not that guy whatsoever. But if you're talking about managing my money or giving me advice about how to manage my money, and you have a criminal background, I'm not talking about speeding tickets here. Right. I'm talking about a person who has gone to jail for fraud. No, sir. No, ma'am. You're not getting my money. I'm sorry. I'm happy for you that you changed your life, but I'm not taking financial advice from someone who is a convicted fraudster. I'm not going to do it.
I think that's like you said, that's probably one of the bigger deal breakers too. It's just like, and like you said, if it was been in your past and you've shown, because some individuals may have had done some time and then they come out and get certified. Now we're talking a different story, but a lot of times
And certain things you can't.
Yeah.
Certain things, if you have certain things on your record, you can never get certified. Like that part of that option, that career option is closed off for you forever. Wow. Right. So certain things you just can't do. Now, I will sit down and listen to you tell me what not to do. Right. Those are great stories. Those type of testimonies I will always listen to. Right. Listen, man, I was a knucklehead when I was younger. I did this and I did that, and that was wrong. I love hearing those stories because they recognize their responsibility in what happened. If you got a person that's always making excuses about what happened to them and how they were the victim in the situation, it's a no-go. I can't deal with someone who does not take responsibilities for their actions. Right. That's a character flaw that I can never get over. If you can't accept you played a role in what's going on, then you have a distorted image of what reality is. Because this is another thing that I talk about all the time. I don't care where you are financially right now, right? But most people, if you speak to them, they're unhappy with where they are financially. Most people. Okay, you know whose fault that is? It's yours. It's your fault. Now, obviously, there's always something that happens that's not under your control. But the way you react to those things is 100% under your control. And I always tell people, until you get to the point where you take ownership of the role you played in your financial life, you will never do better. Because when you take ownership that it's your fault of where you are, now you have the power to get yourself out of it. Now you have the confidence to say, hold on, if I got myself here, I can get myself out of it. Right. But until you take that responsibility, you're going to be looking for a savior. You're going to be looking for someone to get you out of a problem that someone else put you in. See, if someone else put me in this problem, I have to wait for someone else to get me out of the problem. And who's coming? The con man. The fake guru's coming to save you. So you got to get out of this victim mentality of someone else put me here. No. You put yourself there, and with the right type of thinking and with the right type of sound financial recommendations, you can get yourself out of it. Someone actually called in to the show one time, and they asked me, it was a critic, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a popular person within the financial space in urban social media who says, when he's criticized, right? Because this is a person who doesn't have any type of financial credentials whatsoever. Okay. But he says, listen, if someone's criticizing me about not having credentials and I don't know what I'm talking about, ask them, how many millionaires have you made? Right? This is something that he tells his people to ask. Yeah. And I just laugh at that because, listen, I'm a certified financial planner. I've been blessed to work with people and give them recommendations, and they are millionaires, right? Right. But I didn't do that. I didn't make them a millionaire. They made themselves millionaires. Right. Now they took my recommendations, but at the end of the day, they're the ones who worked for the money that they made. Right. They're the ones who decided to create a budget so that they can save, pay down debt, and invest. Right. They made themselves millionaires. Yeah. Not me. So if anyone ever asked the question, to me, they was like, how many millionaires do you make? I was like, not one. They make themselves. But that just shows you the mindset of these people. These people think they're making millionaires. Yes. Right? It's like, you're not making, it's like, come on, let's just be for real. And the weird thing is, okay, we've been in this record bull market. So, yes. We've been in a record economy where it's just been going up and up and up for a very long time. Most people don't realize, but if you take the most basic of econ classes in college, you understand that we have a economy that works in cycles. Yes, there's booms and there's busts. There's good times, then there's bad times. The reason why that happens is if there continues to be good times, then there will be super inflation and you'll have to pay $5,000 for a loaf of bread, right? We need the heating up and the cooling down of the economy to keep a stable, somewhat stable, right? A somewhat stable economy. There's countries where you'll go to and they'll throw out crazy numbers for prices for stuff, right? They'll be like, how much is that car? That'd be 3 million such and such.
Yeah.
What? It'd be like, calm down. It's only a couple $1,000s. See, their money is inflated so much that they need $1 trillion buck. Because they've never got to the point where they can stabilize their currency, right?
Yes,
so we go through booms and busts. The thing that I'm going to sit back and kind of laugh about is when we do get into this recession, where are all these financial experts going to be now?
Yeah.
Right. All of their followers who've been following them and they're supposed to be these big experts, they're going to witness the truth behind the faking and fronting that they've been doing over the past 12 years.
Yes.
Right. Where are they going to be then? Because they're not going to be able to do the Airbnbs, the Lambo rentals. Right. They're going to be humbled by the reality of they don't have the things that they've been showing off. So it's always time.
Yeah.
When you're doing things the right way, and I can tell, obviously, you guys, you're doing things the right way. When you're doing things the right way, you're not immediately rewarded, but you have time on your side.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time where you'll be able to point and say, yeah, I knew I was right. I knew it, right? I got frustrated in the short term, but I knew I was doing the right thing. And here we go. Here's the evidence. So just give it time and you'll see a lot of fake gurus having to explain why things went wrong, or they'll just fall off the face of the earth and no one will speak about it again until another guy pops back up later.
Yeah. And that's so true, JT. Like we talk off air, but I'm convinced the NFT is something that only could be created in a bull market. That's just like you know, hey, everything's going good. Let's what about selling digital art? You know what I mean? Some of these things, it's just like you can only come up with that when everything is up. But when it's down, you know, what will we do then? You know, so
when the economy's down, you get a better sense of what value is. It's distorted when it's up. When it's up, everything is great, right? When the economy's up, everything's great. When it's down and you look like NFT, why would I buy
why would I do that?
A picture for $1,000? Do you know how much gas costs? Do you understand how much milk costs? Right. You get a dose of reality in that situation. And a lot of it is not meant for us. Right. It's not meant for us. Some people are buying these NFTs for hundreds and thousands of dollars, but give it time and you'll probably find out a lot of this is just money laundering.
Yeah.
Right. Like people don't realize the art world, like the traditional collectible art world. There's a lot of money laundering that goes into that.
Yeah.
Right. We sit back and watch it like someone bought a painting for $3 million. Like, how could a painting have a value of $3 million? Well, give it some time and you might find out that there was probably some money laundering that went on there, right? But we as a community, once again, we're always distracted by the shiny object. We're like cats and someone's just playing with a laser pen, right? Instead of focusing on the fundamental things that anyone can do, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist. It doesn't take someone with a Ivy League education to spend less than they make, pay down debt, have a budget, and invest the difference. Doesn't take someone with a ridiculous amount of mental gifts to do that. But like you said before, it's not sexy.
Right.
We're distracted by, oh, look, this guy made $3 million by this cryptocurrency. Yeah, that one guy. They don't talk about the other 3 million people who lost their lunch on that same coin. Right. Because that's not going to get the media attention. Yep. And that's what you're looking at. It's like, I tell people, it's like, you live paycheck to paycheck. What the hell are you doing investing in cryptocurrency? You live paycheck to paycheck. Right. If for some reason you had a issue with your car that cost $1,000, you couldn't pay it right now. Right. Right. The only way you could pay for an unexpected $1,000 expense is to take money for something else. That means your rent's going to be paid late. or your car notes are going to get paid late. You don't actually have the money to pay for an unexpected $1,000 expense.
Right.
That means you have no business investing in cryptocurrencies. You have to do the fundamental stuff first. Right? I remember in college where people would get upset. It was like, why do I have to take this prerequisite? I just want to do this.
Right.
Right? I want to be able to take the advanced class. I want to do this. I want to do that. I tell people, it's like, so you have to get the core understanding first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Until you get the core understanding of the subject matter first, you're going to be lost in the advanced classes. And that's what happens with these, what I refer to as alternative investment classes, right? Cryptocurrency is an alternative investment class, unregulated.
Yep.
There's a possibility where you can make money in it, but you first do all the fundamental stuff first. And then if you have money left over, you can throw some money at that.
Right.
But we have people who are living in Section 8 housing, investing in crypto. Like, what are you doing? You're being distracted by things that you're told could make you rich. Like, there are people, and it's sad. There's people who are living broke to pretend they're wealthy. Meaning they're living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have anything saved up. They don't have anything invested. But they find money to buy luxury brand items.
Right.
That's what's keeping them broke. So in order to make themselves look as if they're wealthy by buying Gucci belts, by buying Prada bags, by buying all of these things that make you appear to be wealthy, you're living below the poverty line.
Wow.
Yeah.
If they would have just simply took the money to make themselves look like they're ultra wealthy and did the fundamental things that I always talk about, they would probably be close to the middle class.
Wow.
Right. But I actually had someone on one of my videos complain and said, you're preaching about people being in the middle class. Like that's so average. Like that's stupid. Like why are you like keeping people from aiming higher?
Right.
Well, listen, I've been an athlete and I've coached.
Yes.
Right. The sport that I excelled in the most was wrestling. Right.
Okay.
And the reason why I love that is because it's an individual sport with a team aspect, right? You're on a team, but at the end of the day, you win your match, you won.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You won. And when it comes to this, you got to understand everybody does not have the same ceiling and you don't have the same floor. Right. I was blessed to be somewhat successful, right? Well, at the end of my high school career, I was ranked 7th in the state of Missouri, right?
Okay.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But when I coach, I was coaching kids at one point, and these kids had these ridiculous goals of like, I'm going to be an undefeated state champ. I was looking at them here like, you're not good. like you're not good enough to do that. The work that it takes to be an undefeated state champ, the work that is that you got to be the guy who's waking up at, like, for me to be 7th in the state, like I wasn't even in the top 6. The top 6 are the people who stand on the podium at the end of the year. Wow. For me to get to that point, I was waking up early in the morning, running before school, go to school, go to practice, then run after practice. Like I did all this stuff to get to that point. I would have kids who could barely walk on the mat without tripping over themselves. And they would be telling me stories about how great they would be. And I would tell them, I was like, listen, man, if you made varsity, that would be an achievement to you.
Yeah.
If you could make varsity and stay in the lineup and win some big matches for the team, that would be big for you. Even in wrestling, sometimes I would go to the kid and listen, man, you're going up against a guy who's a state champ. If he pins you, that team gets 6 points. If you could just survive 6 minutes with this monster, the team will only get 3 points. That would be big for us.
Right.
So do the best you can not to get pinned.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to explain it because the kid would go out there and be like, I'm going to be, it's like, you're not beating this guy.
Right.
And I don't care if you get Dr. Strange to get you to all the multiverses. There's no multiverse that exists where you beat this kid. you're going to lose. But if you can simply not get pinned, it helps us as a team, right? So you got to understand there's levels, right? There's like light bulbs.
Yes.
Different light bulbs have different specs. They have different brightnesses. You got to understand who you are and what you can achieve. There are people who are shooting for the moon and ending up in a ditch. Well, if they could simply just shoot for something realistic, they would most likely achieve it. And that comes down to having a realistic understanding of reality.
Yeah.
There's people who truly believe they're going to be multi-billionaires. And because they're going to be multi-billionaires, they are denying themselves a middle-class life. And they're living in poverty. And that breaks my heart. Because they act as if being middle class is some sort of punishment. You're in Section 8 housing now. The middle class is your heaven on earth if you can get there. But because that's for lames, that's for suckers, having a 9-to-5 job and being boring, investing in a index fund is boring, I'm going to buy every course there is. I'm going to grind and hustle all my life. And what ends up happening, you're going to walk into my office or some financial advisor's office when you're in your mid to late 50s with absolutely nothing in your hands, asking us, how can I retire? This is how you're going to retire. Social Security and, hi, welcome to Walmart. The diapers are in aisle 9. Like, you're going to be working the rest of your life. Based on the choices you made in your life.
JT, man, this has been, I'm not going to front, Sean. I'm going to go out on a limb. This has been my favorite podcast. This has been my absolute favorite. JT, thank you so much, man. You dropped some serious gems, bro.
Yeah, and if you're listening, you might have said ouch a few times.
Oh, yeah.
You might have said ouch, but take it, move on, learn and grow from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So JT, man, let everyone know where they can, see, find you on YouTube. And
absolutely.
And JT, I wanted to ask you also.
Sure.
Are there, what are some resources that people can tap into to find CFPs in their area or in their state? Is there some type of green book or some type of
and then also can they contact you? I'm not sure. Like, are you just certified for your state, or are you working with folks from all over?
Yeah, so I work with people from all over. I mean, there's a difference between investment advice and just general financial coaching. I can do general financial coaching all over the country, all over the world, right? If we get to the point where we need to do actual investment advice, there's a second step that we would get to. But I want to first talk about finding a certified financial planner. It's extremely important, and it's something that people need to do. It's not about being rich. Far too many people think, oh, when I make money, that's what I'm going to get a financial planner. No. You need to get one now that can help you actually get to the point where you can make a good amount of money. You can go to cfp.net. If you go to cfp.net, there's going to be a link where you can find a certified financial planner in your area. You can base it off your zip code. You can go there. I have a separate YouTube channel where all I do is interview Black certified financial planners, because I want people to understand we exist.
Yeah,
we're out here. We're not showing Lambos and Rolexes and videos and stuff. So maybe you can't find us on social media,
right?
But we're out here, and we're qualified, and we're here to help our community. So you can go to cfp.net and you can find a certified financial planner in your area. If you are interested to see more of my content and what I do, you can go to pocketwatcher.net. Pocketwatcher.net has all the links to everything that I do as far as my personal practice here in the city of St. Louis. And you can also book a online consultation with me by going to pocketwatcher.net and just click the book a consultation button there. And listen, take the time right now to make the decision that you want to change your financial life. It's not going to be a get rich quick thing. It's not going to be something where overnight everything's going to change.
Right.
But the same discipline it takes to get in physical fitness, that's what it takes to become financially fit. Make the decision right now that in 2 years from now, you'll be looking back and saying, man, I made the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that only comes with doing things the right way and not trying to find a come up. There's no come ups in life that actually are good in the long term. Come ups is a short term thing.
Yeah.
Right. But then you look back and say, I probably should have did it a different way.
Right. Right. Very true. Great advice there, JT. We appreciate it, brother. And we're going to have all of those links in the description for anyone who's checking us out on YouTube or even on the podcast. We'll have those in the link. So JT, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite. Yeah, y'all do a great job. You're such a good looking couple, right?
Man, thank you.
so thank you for what you do, and I continued success.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Well, that's all for this episode. Shire, any final questions or thoughts?
No, I'm full.
Yeah, me too. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we're gonna holler at y'all on the next one. This is Marcus, and I'm here with my lovely wife,
Shira.
and we're gonna talk to y'all later. Peace.
Bye.